Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about a massive shift in how we think about business. It's about breaking away from a model that's literally designed to end in a landfill and instead building something new, something that's regenerative right from the get-go.
All right, let's just get right to the heart of it. On the left, you've got the linear model. It's a one-way street. You take resources, make something, and then it gets tossed. It's all about depletion. But the circular model on the right, it flips the whole script. This isn't just about feeling good or being green. It's about designing a system that actually replenishes the planet while driving better, smarter, and superior profits.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to really unpack this whole take-make-waste problem. Then, we'll get into its really elegant solution, the regenerative model. From there, we'll look at the nuts and bolts, the three core loops that make it all work, and see how real companies are using smart strategies to put it into action. And finally, we'll check out what's speeding this all up and what's holding it back.
Okay, first things first. We have to understand the problem we all kind of grew up with. And at its core, it's just plain inefficient. It's what happens when you try to force a straight line onto a world that naturally, beautifully runs in cycles.
You know, this is the engine that pretty much built the modern economy. The logic is dead simple. You pull resources out of the ground, you manufacture something, and then what? Well, the model just assumes it's going to get thrown away. Waste isn't an accident here. It's the built-in, planned final step for just about everything we make.
Now you have to get your head around this number, because it changes everything. A full 80% of a product's environmental impact is locked in at the design phase. Just think about that for a second. Before a single machine is turned on, the future waste, the pollution, it's already been designed right into the product's DNA.
So, if the old model has such a massive design flaw, what's the fix? Well, it's not about making that straight line a little bit better. It's about bending it all the way back into a circle. And here's what that looks like. A circular business isn't just trying to do less harm. It's actively designed to be regenerative. The whole point is to keep products and materials in play at their highest possible value for as long as humanly possible. It totally flips our idea of what creating value even means.
This quote from Alan Rosen just nails it. Waste isn't some law of nature that we just have to accept. It's a failure of imagination. It's a design flaw. And when you think about it that way, you realize that every overflowing trash can is basically a monument to a bad business decision. Okay, so how do we actually do this? How does this big idea become a real plan? Well, luckily, this isn't just some abstract philosophy. We have an actual, actionable blueprint for this, thanks to a pioneer in this space named Walter Stahel.
And Stahel's framework is just beautifully simple. It's all built around three key ways of managing our resources. We need to slow things down, we need to narrow the flow, and we need to close the loop. Let's break down what each of those really means.
First up, slowing the loops. This is all about fighting against throwaway culture by extending a product's life. We're talking about designing things for durability, for easy repair, for maintenance. The goal is simple: use things longer. Second, we have narrowing the loops. This is about being hyper-efficient with what we use in the first place. How can we make the same quality product with less material, less energy, and less water? It's all about doing way more with way less. And finally, we close the loops. This is what most of us think of when we hear recycling, but it goes so much deeper. It's about creating systems where the end of one product's life is actually the beginning for another. It's turning old products back into valuable new resources. So you might be wondering, how do companies actually make money with these loops? How do they build a business around this? Well, it really boils down to three core strategies that bring this whole theory to life. These three strategies are the real workhorses of the circular economy. They're how companies are turning these ideas into a serious competitive advantage. We've got retaining product ownership, product life extension, and design for recycling.
So first, retain product ownership, or RPO. The idea is brilliant. The company never sells you the thing. They sell you the service the thing provides. Think leasing or subscriptions. Because the company still owns the product, they now have a huge financial incentive to make it last, to maintain it, and to upgrade it.
Next up, product life extension, or PLE. This is all about finding value in things that our old economy would just call used up. Patagonia's worn wear is the perfect example. They don't just let you throw away an old jacket. No way! They'll take it back, fix it up, and resell it. That keeps stuff out of the landfill, and it creates a whole new revenue stream for them. It's a win-win. And last but not least, design for recycling, or DFR.
This is where that 80% number we talked about earlier really comes full circle. It's about being smart from the very beginning. Take Timberland's collaboration on tires. They were co-designed from day one to be easily and efficiently recycled into the soles of Timberland boots. The product's end was literally designed to be a new beginning.
Now, of course, making a shift this big is never easy. The path to a truly circular economy is basically a new frontier for innovators, and like any frontier, it's got some amazing opportunities and some pretty big obstacles.
And this really lays out the whole landscape. On one side, we have these incredible technologies speeding things up. You've got the Internet of Things with sensors that let us track a product's health. You've got digital twins, which are virtual copies that let us test a product's entire life cycle. You even have biomimicry, where we learn from nature's own zero-waste designs. But on the other side, the barriers are almost all human. They're things like outdated financial rules, departments in a company that just don't talk to each other, and frankly, a fear of change.
And if you need any motivation to push past those barriers, just look at these numbers. This is what happens when you remanufacture a product instead of making a new one. We're talking 80% less energy, 88% less water, a whopping 92% less chemical use. These aren't tiny tweaks. This is proof that circular models aren't just a nice idea. They are fundamentally better, more efficient, and more resilient ways to run a business.
And that really brings us to the ultimate goal, right? This isn't about choosing between making a profit and helping the planet anymore. It's about optimizing business itself, creating a system where profit, purpose, people, and the planet aren't in conflict. They're all working together harmoniously. So the real takeaway here is that this whole shift is much bigger than just recycling our plastic bottles. It's a fundamental challenge to our creativity, to our ingenuity. It really leaves us with one powerful question to think about. If all waste is really just a design flaw, what will you design next?